What's good, you guys? Welcome back to the Ball Don't Lie podcast. We have a jam-packed episode for you guys, and we're basically mainly going to be talking about this blockbuster deal that just happened about an hour ago, and it was crazy because it just came out of nowhere, man. It just came out of left field. I mean, like some of the we kind of knew that this player was going to get traded, but we didn't know for who. Um, So, and we also had an extra trade after that as well to top it all off. So absolutely insane, guys. The full trade package. So the first trade package. Let me just start off with the James Harden trade package. It was James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. Sorry, James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets for in a three-way deal with the Cavaliers. Karis LeVert, Dante Exum, Roots, I don't know how to pronounce his first name. 4 first-round picks, including the Cavs 2022 via the Bucks, and 4 Nets pick swaps. Jarrett and to the Rockets, and then Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince to the Cavs. Now later, Karis LeVert would be traded to the Pacers for Victor Oladipo. Karis LeVert and a second rounder to the Pacers, Victor Oladipo, and then the last part was that the Nets are acquiring a 2024 second-round pick from the Cavs. So the Rockets basically get Oladipo, Exum, Kurucs, 3 Brooklyn picks, 1 Milwaukee pick, and 4 Brooklyn pick swaps. The Nets get James Harden in a second-round pick. Pacers get Karis LeVert in a second-round pick. The Cavs get Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince. So absolutely crazy, guys. How do you guys want to do? Do you want to do winners and losers?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do winners and losers. There's 4 teams involved. Darian, you can go first. What are your winners and losers?
All right. So I just want to people may disagree with this, but this is my thought. So I'm going to go top to bottom from the order it is. So for the Rockets, I think this was a good trade for them, but I don't think it was the best package they could get. I'm not sure if the Sixers were offering Ben Simmons or not. If they weren't, and then I guess it's a good trade because it was between these two teams. I think Houston wanted more from the Sixers than they wanted from the Nets for some reason. But well, that's just how it was. The Rockets got Victor Oladipo, who I think is a really good fit for them. They'll have a really good defensive backcourt. They got a lot of picks, and I think that's good for them. And they have a pretty solid core right now, and I think Christian Wood's going to develop into a really good star. I'll leave the Nets for last. The Pacers also, when I think Karis LeVert is a better fit for them, and Victor Oladipo is going to be a free agent this offseason, and Karis LeVert is a younger player, I believe, and he's on a longer contract, and they get a second-round pick. The Cavs just straight up win this. I think they gave a second or a first-round pick, or a second. Yeah, I think they gave a first-rounder, and they just got Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince, and those are two. Jarrett Allen's a good player, and he's young. Torian Prince is a solid role player, but on the Cavs, that's a little bit more than a role player. So for the Nets, people may disagree with me, but I think this is a little bit of an overrated trade for them. If we think about it, from the roster they started with, they've lost a lot. They've lost Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, Torian Prince. Those are four important rotation players, and they just got Harden. Spencer Dinwiddie obviously wasn't in the trade, but he is injured out for the season. And their defense has gone a lot worse. They lost their best rim protector and their paint defender, but they still have DeAndre Jordan. But who's their bench center now? I'm not sure. They also have they just have a really bad defensive team in my opinion. Nicholas Claxton is what Suas just told me, but that's pretty trash anyways. I think the Nets, just on paper, are obviously the best team, but they're not the best team when they play because Kyrie and Harden, I've said this before, I think everyone agrees, they're both bad off-ball players. They're both horrible defenders. I'm not sure how this team will work out. Everyone said it could be like the Nets when they got Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. I just don't see how this is going to work. I think just off raw talent, they'll make the finals because they're going to be East teams, but I think any team that comes out of the West is going to beat them in the finals.
I'm going to be honest. I'll start from top to bottom. We can start out with the Rockets first. I know Darian said this was they didn't get too much out of it. I think this is the most they could have gotten out of it, to be quite honest, okay? Because they got Oladipo. Yeah, they gave up LeVert straight away for that, but they got Oladipo. Kurucs is a nice player. Nobody really knows about Kuruc. He's actually a pretty solid rotation player. And let me tell you something about these all these first round picks. They're all unprotected, and that's the big thing. Okay, Kyrie and KD aren't going to be staying all the time. Like they're not going to live their careers out in Brooklyn. So that first round pick in 2024 and 26, even 2025, 27, where they have a swap, could be lottery picks. You never know. It could be lottery picks. It's going to be big for them, and I think they cashed out like big time. This is the kind of trade they needed to get back after getting Russell Westbrook. Giving up what was it, 4 picks, I think, for Westbrook. They got all those picks basically back, and I think this is a big dub for the Rockets. In terms of the Pacers, I mean, I just got. Oh, also, I wanted to talk about Oladipo. I am so happy he is out of the Eastern Conference. Every time the Celtics played the Pacers, I was scared of one man, and I was Oladipo, because he absolutely killed the Celtics. And I'm glad he's gone. But LeVert is a really nice player. He will fit in perfectly because he can play off ball with what's his name, Malcolm Brogdon, and they will be a perfect 1-2 punch. And if we look at the next team, the Cavs, the Cavs, so that's an L for the Nets. Okay, I know they got James Harden, but here's the problem with the Nets. 3 ball hogs all on the same team. Okay, that's not going to work at all. I'm just going to be straight up honest. Y'all saw what Kyrie did in Boston. Mans wanted the ball in his hands, wouldn't let Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, wouldn't let Terry Rozier touch the ball. Okay, Kyrie is a ball hog straight up. Now Durant, he can play off ball. Durant can play off ball, which is why we saw him work out in Golden State with Steph and Klay, because all 3 of those players can play off ball. All 3 players on the Nets cannot play on ball. I'm sorry, they cannot play off ball, excluding KD. Harden is not good off ball, and Kyrie is not good off ball. It's just a bad recipe it's just a recipe for disaster, because the thing about Harden is, if the ball is not in his hands, he's going to sit at the 3-point line and do absolutely nothing. Yeah, he gives you the spacing, but what else is he doing? And he's a cancer. You saw the stuff he was saying last night. Imagine if something happens in Brooklyn and we get some sort of rumors hovering around the media, in the locker room. It's not going to work at all, I don't think. And eventually, I think Harden might be out the door again within a year, because it's not going to work. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were a second-round exit or even an Eastern Conference exit, because of the issues they have in they're going to have issues with chemistry, and I just don't see it happening with the Nets right now. In fact, I would still have the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Celtics above the Nets right now, because KD, Kyrie, and Harden is just not going to work at all.
All right, bro, you guys are just on some blasphemous shit. You guys are really underrating the Nets at this point. I don't care if you're talking about just 3 ball hogs on one team. They're going to make it work some way, somehow, okay? They're not going to have this much potential as a team and make it not work. So, I'll start with the Cavs. I completely agree with what Dorian said. I think they win this one big time. They gave away Exum and a first-round pick to get Jared Allen and Taurean Prince. Normally, when you have a 4-team trade and you're trying to make it more even, there's always going to be one team who doesn't give away and get as much, but they're always going to be the one that wins, and that's who the Cavs are in this one. For the Pacers, I think that Oladipo is probably going to leave when he's a free agent, so I think they win the one with Karras. He's also younger, as Dorian said, and they get a second-round pick. He can have the potential to be better than what Oladipo has been. The Nets, I think that they didn't win or lose this one, because I think that if Dinwiddie was here as a team, they might have been better than what they are right now. But with the players they gave away just now. And for the Rockets, I think this is also not a win or a lose for them, because I feel like Harden he's a much better player than what they got, but his value is very depreciated right now because of the stuff he's been doing with in the locker room and stuff like that. But I think the Nets are still easily the best team in the East right now, and you guys are just really, 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 really underrating them.
All right, so I'll start off with the other. I won't. I'll save Nets for last. I'll start off with the Cavs because I think they had the least amount of impact in this deal. They did end up getting Jared Allen and who else? Torian Prince, was it Torian Prince? I
Yeah,
think it was
yeah.
Torian Prince. Yeah, Torian Prince and Jared Allen. Torian Prince is garbage, but Jared Allen will be a good fit for the Cavs. If they trade Drummond away. Um, the Rockets. I think for the Rockets, I agree that this was probably one of the best trade packages that they could have gotten because of all the picks that they got. Oladipo, I think they took an L with the Oladipo Karis LeVert thing because Oladipo is a free agent. So if he leaves the Rockets, they basically lost out on Karis LeVert, who I think is a very underrated player for absolutely nothing. Um, but they did get all these picks from the James Harden deal, so I think they can hold their heads high and say we did what we had to. I think got 9 picks, which are all unprotected. Exum and Kurutz are rotational slash bench pieces that they can use. Um, yeah, but the Oladipo thing I think will be an L if he leaves them in free agency, which we'll have to see. But if he doesn't, then by all means, it's a good trade for them. The Pacers, I think, took a big W here. Oladipo clearly expressed concerns about wanting out. Um, Karis LeVert is a very good replacement to have on their team. We saw what Karis LeVert can do, dropping 44 points recently. So he's a very underrated player, like I said before, and they get a second round pick out of that. Let's talk about the Nets. Um, so the Brooklyn Nets got James Harden, and I am a fan of this deal. I know a lot of people are not a fan of this deal, but I am a fan of this deal. If you would have told me before James Harden got traded that James Harden would have gotten traded for what is it, Karis LeVert, Torian Prince, and like 8 picks, I'd have been fine with it because those picks, if the Brooklyn Nets win a championship, and Jared Allen, sorry, if the Brooklyn Nets win a championship in any of these years, because I think a lot of people are forgetting that it's not just one year that they have to win a championship. This is not the window like 2021 to win a championship. They can win a championship in the next year, the year after that, as long as these guys are under contract. They can figure it out, especially with Dinwiddie coming back. So if they win a championship in these next couple of years, no one cares about these 8 picks that they're giving up because they'll get a championship. So I don't really think the Brooklyn Nets care about those picks because they'll be competitive. Those picks will be 20s, late 20s. So I don't think they care about those picks. I think a lot of like Karis LeVert is cool, but you're getting James Harden back, who's at his ceiling. He can be a top 5 player in the league. Jared Allen is cool, but you're getting James Harden back. Torian Prince. A lot of Brooklyn Nets fans are slandering Torian Prince last night and the game before. Now, I think the only thing I think could be holding this team back is the attitude problems, and we'll have to see how the chemistry meshes together. I think that James Harden, the reason that he has been, so vocal about whatever he's been doing, going to strip clubs, he does not want to be in Houston. So he's doing everything that he can in his power to make it known that he does not want to be in Houston. The reason why he's been all over the news saying what he said in these interviews, going to all these clubs, is because he is not happy in Houston, and the Brooklyn Nets were on one of the teams on his list that he wanted to be traded to. Right? And then the last thing that I think Darian and Tages were mentioning with the depth, I think that depth is very overrated when it comes to the playoffs. And I'm a fan of a team that has one of the strongest benches in the league. I saw single-handedly that star power is much more valuable than depth. When you get to the playoffs, teams shorten their rotations to about 7 or 8 deep. Nets have I just got this notification from Bobby Marks. They have a 5.7 million tax mid-level exception, the minimum exception, and a 5.7 disabled player exception for Spencer Dinwiddie, which gives them about 11 million plus the minimum exception to sign someone in the buyout market. So they still have things that they can do, right? So once you get to the playoffs, depth doesn't really mean that much because your rotations get shortened. I'm taking star power over depth any day. I have multiple examples to verify this. we saw last year in the finals, the Miami Heat were undoubtedly the deeper team than the Los Angeles Lakers. But the reason the Lakers won were the fact that they had the two best players in the series. So obviously they would have won the series. But you could, after the two best players, you could say that the Miami Heat had 3-7, 3-8, right? In 2011, I was in 2011, 12, 13, 14. I was a fan of the Heat team that had Carlos Arroyo as the backup point guard. They still won 2 championships. So depth is fine, but depth does not beat out star power. And they can still do multiple things in the buyout market.
So I just wanted to say something quickly about the depth thing. I think there's a difference between the depth between the Heat Lakers thing and I think the Lakers Nets thing. So let me explain. The Lakers don't lack star power. Like against the Nets, if you put them, it's LeBron, or if you want to put KD first, which is a horrible take, but some people do. Suhas. I'm still gonna put LeBron over KD, and then it's AD, Harden, Kyrie. So Lakers aren't lacking star power, and their depth is still better than the Nets. The difference between the Heat and the Lakers one is the Heat had more depth, but the Lakers star power was significantly more than the Heat's was, and the Heat lost their second best player in Bam, and they also lost a scorer who was their leading scorer like heading into the finals. So I think that's the difference on those.
All I'm saying is that that's cool, but your third best player is nowhere near Kyrie Irving's level.
Yeah, but then like our depth is like I know depth doesn't matter, but
but I'm taking Kyrie Irving or over your whole bench. That's what I'm saying right now. Like I don't really care about who's on your bench. I'm taking Kyrie Irving over all of them.
But like I'm taking LeBron and AD over KD and Harden.
Yeah, but I'm saying the gap between LeBron and AD and KD and Harden isn't as big as Kyrie and the rest of your team. The Nets still have guys like Joe Harris and DeAndre Jordan on their team, and Landry Shamet, and Jeff Green coming off their bench. So they don't have it's just like those 9, 8, 9, 10 pieces on their bench that is like terrible.
I don't think
1 through 7. I think they're fine.
I don't think the Nets
TLC is good too.
Yeah. I don't think the Nets on paper they're a fantastic team. I think the only problem they're gonna have is fit and chemistry and attitude, like you said. Like I don't know how you're gonna play Kyrie and Harden together, and also in the playoffs, defense matters a lot, and I think they're going to be the worst defensive team in the playoffs. Like the worst defensive contender in the playoffs, like worst defensive second round team, for example. Because they get like, let's say for example against the Clippers, because I use the Lakers a lot as an example. I'm going to use the Clippers. You put KD on Kawhi most likely, but like who's going to guard Paul George on that team? Like they have no good wing defender outside of KD. And Kyrie and Harden are atrocious defenders, and they're atrocious off-ball players. KD is the only one that can play off-ball out of those big three. Harden and Kyrie, one of them has to have the ball, and I think we should talk about that now too.
Kyrie played off the ball in Cleveland.
No, he had the ball. Like when he played, LeBron's different though. LeBron's not KD and Harden, and like Harden's like only. I'm saying that the problem is there's two players that can't play off ball. On the Cavs, it was just like if Kyrie can't play off ball, LeBron can.
We're seeing. I don't know. I think they'll work it out.
I just want to ask everyone this, David and Tejas too. Who do you think should be the primary ball handler on the Nets?
Ball handler,
Kyrie Irving.
Like bringing the ball up the floor,
having the ball most in their hands.
Okay, bringing up the floor, I would say Kyrie. Having the ball most in their hands, I would say Kevin Durant. Durant should
Go ahead.
Durant should have the ball most in his hands.
Durant's the best.
David. If you want a fluid offense, you want Durant with the ball in his hands. And the thing about Harden and Kyrie is you have to turn them into off-ball players if you want anything to do with them. Like that's the way I think it has to work with them. Like Durant, like he's such a good facilitator. We saw that yesterday. Dude almost had a triple-double. Like
Harden's a much better facilitator.
Yes, okay, agreed. But I feel like if they have to get like Harden and Kyrie off-ball touches, or else everyone is going to be mad. Kyrie wants the ball. Harden wants the ball. KD wants the ball. Like it's going to be really confusing. They're going to have to stagger all three of their minutes. It's going to be really confusing. I don't know how they're going to.
So I just want to say, we've never actually seen Harden play off ball. the only time he actually had a better player than him on his team was in OKC, and he wasn't even like
It's not
10% of the
about that.
player he is now. So
No,
we
he's
don't
just the
know what his
10% of the player.
Okay, well, okay, yeah.
No.
Again,
That's the problem. Like we can
listen,
see him playing off ball when you give John Wall the ball or when you give Chris the ball. He's useless on offense. Like he can't do anything when he doesn't have his
I mean,
hands.
it's been like 5
That's why
games.
he needs to be the
Last
guy who
year.
brings the ball. Because I think
Exactly.
Kyrie and KD can play off the ball. I've seen them do it.
I think okay, this is the thing.
Can I just
Hart.
quickly- can I
Yeah, go
finish?
ahead. Russ Westbrook played on the Rockets last year, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And when Russell Westbrook was playing with Harden, they didn't look bad.
Because
They-
Russell Westbrook can play off ball.
Okay,
Harden
anyways,
can't.
what I was trying to say is that it's only been 5 games what Harden's played with John Wall. So you can't really use that as like
Okay.
an example. And plus, I think that Harden, he's not gonna be what he was like last season or the years before, like the
No
few
shit.
years before, because I think he knows now that he has 2 guys who can play similar level as him. So he's probably gonna go back to like 2015 Harden or something
No,
like that. But yeah.
quickly, I just want to say if the Nets want to have success, because if he isn't playing with the ball in his hand, he's absolutely useless.
Okay, you cut off for like the first part. You just repeat whatever you're saying.
Yeah, I said if Nets want any success with this team, either you have to bring one of them off the bench, which I highly doubt they will do, or you have to have Harden with the ball primarily because otherwise he's useless and there's no point of you trading for him.
Okay, we're gonna do something really quickly. It's gonna be a very short game. I sent the guys like this question ahead of time, and I wanted them to prepare their answers. And if you guys didn't, I'll give you the question again. It's which out of 4 options, I want you guys to like rank from 1 through 4. Which duos would you build around out of Luka and Porzingis? That's number 1. I'm gonna type it out so you guys can see it as well. So Luka and Porzingis, Brandon Ingram and Zion, Tatum and Brown. Lastly, Booker and Aiton. So I just want you guys to rank, from 1 through 4, or go 4 through 1. Which duo would you build around for the future?
Can we clarify something? So is this just like if there's like no injuries involved, or like just because I think every single one of these has like one player that could get injured, or is it just like regular like in the future without anything?
Just do regular.
Okay. I need a second. Give me someone else can go.
I'll go first then. Okay.
Oh,
I'll just go first. Okay.
Okay.
If I'm ranking these 4 duos, there's a problem with 3 out of these 4 duos. Well, 2 out of these 4 duos. Okay. There's a problem with 2 out of 4 of these duos. Okay. The first duo I have a problem with is Luka and KP. Porzingis has not shown that he can be healthy. I'm just saying Porzingis has shown he cannot be healthy. I'm not saying Luka. Luka is a stud, man. Like Luka is going to easily put up maybe a triple-double, average a triple-double. So I would have that, like, that's one problem. But if I'm going to rank all these 4, I would put Booker and Aiton at 4. I would have Brandon Ingram and Zion at 3 because I don't trust Zion's health at all. Dude just had a meniscus tear. Okay, the dude is what? Almost 295. Jumping at his weight, as much as I hate to say it, knock on wood. Like, I'm just scared something is going to happen to Zion because I love watching Zion. His athleticism is off the roof, but I like as a dude, I just can't trust him. Like, the health is just a problem. But at 2, I would have Luka and Porzingis because I don't trust Porzingis' health. And the only duo that has shown us consistency throughout all 3 years of being together is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have shown consistency and improvement in their games. Okay, and they've shown they can be healthy, and that's key in my part. And what they're doing right now is just off the charts, man. Like, I saw a statistic the other day. Third duo in league history to hit 250 points in 10 games, besides Shaq and Kobe and KD and Curry. Like, that's insane. Like, Like this is like I knew Brown had it in him to score. Like I knew Tatum had it, but like to see Brown do it is just it's ridiculous. I'm glad both of them have shown growth in the year where they needed to ascend in order for the Celtics to be great, and that's why I would have them at 1.
Okay, so most of my list here is the same as Tejas's. At number 4, I have the Suns duo, Booker and Ayton. I just feel like the second option out of all the guys here is better than what Ayton would be, and almost all of the first options is better than what Booker is. At number 3, I have Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. This duo has the potential to be higher, but I feel like Zion, like you said, he's extremely heavy and he's jumping so high. I don't think that it will end very well for by the time his career is by the time he's into his career. I don't think that it'll be good on his knees. And at number 2, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, and I'll take Tatum and Brown here. So at number 1, I obviously have Luka and Kristaps. You're talking about how Kristaps gets injured a lot, but I think the guy's not gonna get injured all the time. Okay, eventually he's gonna stop getting injured, and he's not gonna be like this the entire time. So I think that, and also I want to say something. Last season he actually played the same amount of games as Jaylen Brown did. So, I mean, he did actually have a significant injury, unlike Jaylen Brown. But I'm just saying that they played the same amount of games. So yeah, and it's obvious that Luka is better than Jason Tatum. It's just that Porzingis is 7'3". He can play like 40 minutes in a game. I don't think any 7-footer can run down the court like that. Like I'm saying in today's game, any 7-footer can run down the court like he can. Over 7-footer, sorry, can run down the court like he can and play 40 minutes a game and shoot the 3 as well as he can. It's just outstanding to me, and he has so much talent in his game. And if he can stay healthy, I think this duo is the clear answer.
All right, so my number 4. This one was it's obviously Booker and Ayton. Like they're just the worst out of all of these. Because I don't even think Ayton is the second best player in his team. So I don't know how a duo for the future. I get it, but I still think he's worse. This duo is a lot worse than the rest. And this one I have trouble with. Like I have a number 1 locked. But everyone, well, David knows this. I'm a huge believer that Zion will get injured in his career, and his career is going to come to an end because of an injury. I'm a huge believer in that. But like over time, I've been watching this dude, and Zion is playing like a guy that isn't in his second year. He developed really quick. So this might sound a little bit like someone's gonna get mad at me, and we know who it is. It's gonna be Tejas. I have Tatum and Brown as my number 3. And before Tejas goes on a rant, I'm gonna explain why. I think Brandon Ingram is better than Jason Tatum right now. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be what it's gonna be like for the future. But
what? No. What did you just say? What did you just say?
What I see in Brandon Ingram is better than what I see in Jason Tatum.
He's on the weed, bro. Stay off the weed.
Let me finish. And Brandon Ingram has like an offensive skill set that I've only seen from KD in recent history. Obviously, it's not at that level, but he plays like KD. And I think Zion's has a lot more upside than Jaylen Brown does. If he doesn't get injured, Zion's an MVP, in my opinion. I'm a Zion hater. I was a Zion hater. He's going to be an MVP one year if he's never injured, maybe multiple years. So I have them at 2, Zion and Ingram, because I think Ingram better than Tatum. Zion will be better than Brown. So that's why I have them at 2 for the future. And I don't think they'll have more success though, because I think Boston's going to be a better team. My number 1 is obviously Luka and KP. This isn't even like I'm not even like debating this at all. It's the second easiest one other than who's in last, because Luka is so much better than everyone else on this. Like it's just unbelievable. And KP, let's not forget, he's like a top tier all-star player when he's healthy. Like this guy can put up 25 and 10. He can average that every night. He can put up 25 and 10 every night, get 3 blocks, 4 blocks. He's a beast. He's, I think, the best second option when healthy out of all these guys, which might sound surprising, but I think it's true. So I have Luka and KP as my number 1.
Okay, so I agree with I think Darian and David because I think that for the Suns, I think the Suns duo is obviously last because I don't think Aiden's on the level of. I think Aiden's not that good. I mean, he's good, but like he ain't all that. I just saw him get bullied by Robin Lopez, so and all that. And number three, this is tough because this is my favorite duo, like in the league. Besides like anyone on the Heat, this is probably my favorite duo. Um, I love Brandon Ingram. I love Zion, and I think potential. I think if you're looking at potential, like healthy, I think they're top two. But because Zion's just through the roof, Zion's potential is crazy. But and so is Brandon Ingram's. But I have to put them at three here because Zion hasn't, shown that he can stay healthy. And Brandon Ingram is not on the level of Jason Tatum, like Darian said, even though I like him better. Um, so Tatum and Brown are two because they have shown that they can stay healthy. But the reason I don't have them at one is because I think um Luka and Porzingis, like Luka's crazy. I think Luka's on a different level to any of these guys. Um, and Tatum can be close, but I think that Luka is just on another planet. Um, I think Porzingis, when he's healthy, can probably be, he's definitely an all-star when healthy. And he has, the potential. The potential is crazy with Porzingis. It's the only thing that is his health. I think that with Jaylen Brown, I'm still very iffy on him because this is a very small sample size what I'm seeing from him right now. The reason I think he's thriving is because all the pressure is on Tatum, and I think he's very underrated. But I think his role is very simple on the team, which is why he's able to flourish so much. So I do want to see his touches when Kemba Walker comes back, as to how good he will be then. Which is why I don't have him at one yet. But as of now, they have shown me that they're probably the healthiest. So I still don't take them over Luka. So that's why I have them at two. Anyone have anything else to say, David?
I'm just gonna I typed this in the chat, but I just want to say this. I think that if Zion can stay healthy, he has more potential than Tatum. Right now, obviously, he's not better than Tatum. Tatum's definitely better, but I'm saying potential-wise, I think that he can be better than what Tatum can be.
Tejas, you got anything to say?
What did you say, David? Sorry, I was taking a call.
Said that Zion, when healthy, has better potential than Tatum.
Hell no. What are you talking about? Okay, let me tell you something right now about Jason Tatum. We have not seen the full potential of Jason Tatum right now, and he's still averaging 27 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists. All right, Jason Tatum at his peak could be averaging something on the lines of 30, 10, and like 6. Okay, at his full potential. Okay, like I totally see it from Jason Tatum because he's that good of a player. And he's only 22, bruh. Like, how many times do we have to bring it up? Zion, on the other hand, okay, not 10 rebounds. Sure, maybe like 8 or 9, whatever. Okay. Zion, on the other hand, has injury problems. And, okay, if we're ignoring injuries, Zion can't shoot the 3 like Tatum can. You think, okay, if you give the ball to Zion in clutch time, you think he's going to get to the basket? Hell no, he can't.
Yeah, he can. Have you seen this man?
He can. But guess what teams are going to do in the playoffs, Darian? Guess what teams are going to playoffs are going to do? They're going to crowd the paint. They're not going to let him get anywhere near that
there's
basket.
only one guy that'll get in front of Zion Williams.
Okay. It's not just one person, Darian.
It's Kyle Lowry.
It is a multi.
Exactly.
Do you think Zion? Oh, the thing about Zion is that I love him, but they're gonna give him that Giannis treatment in the playoffs.
They're gonna give him exactly. They're gonna give him the Giannis treatment.
It's different.
Because he can't shoot a jump shot.
No, but he can pass out. Like Giannis can pass, but his team, Zion has Ingram team still. Like Ingram's the best player.
His vision is not that good at all.
Bro, he's a pretty big dude. He has a lot of space. He can get an open pass.
Okay, here's the problem. In the playoffs, they're gonna ask Zion to get to the basket or do something with the ball to score. They're gonna
the Pelicans, the worst 3-point shooting team in the league statistically.
Exactly.
Lakers
Who's gonna throw it to? Eric Bledsoe to shoot a three? Like, come on, man. You gotta think about like the other thing is Tatum and Brown are built. Tatum's like team has shooters around him. Kemba
JJ
Walker.
Redick.
Okay, JJ Redick is the only person. You put one
Ingram.
shooter and you put three
Lonzo
people
Ball's
guarding the paint.
38%.
Who are you?
Lonzo
Okay,
Ball
yeah,
has been
Lonzo,
terrible
okay.
shooting, bro. Lonzo
Who-
Ball
No,
has
he's
been
been pretty good.
Last season, Lonzo Ball shot 38% from 3 on 6 attempts a game.
That's Pog. That's amazing.
Okay, so
38% is amazing.
okay.
Yeah.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just gotta say one
go
last thing. Zion is going to get the Giannis treatment, and even if he kicks out the ball in the playoffs, it's not going to be enough. Okay, I've seen Tatum single-handedly take LeBron James to Game 7 of the
Oh
playoffs.
my! Did you say he wasn't even averaging the most points on the team?
Bro, single
Yes,
handed.
in the Cavs
No, Jalen Brown was averaging more.
series. Yes, he
He
was.
was in
Jalen
the Cavs series.
Brown was averaging more. Okay,
in
I'm
the
just gonna
last
verify this.
in the
Go
last
on.
3 games, in Game 7, when the Celtics needed a bucket, who did
No,
they go
Jalen Brown
to?
averaged 4. Jalen Brown averaged 20 and Tatum averaged
When
18.
they needed a bucket, they went to Jason Tatum. They didn't go to Jalen Brown. They went to Jason Tatum because Tatum has that clutch factor that Zion doesn't have, and Brown he somewhat has. Okay, that's the thing about Tatum that why I would take the edge of Tatum over Zion because he's got that clutch factor. All right, okay, Darian, shut up. But that's my point. I don't know why you would say Zion is better than Tatum at his potential.
You're saying that he's gonna get the Giannis treatment in the playoffs, but it's different. Giannis, he's long, right? And he's quick, but he's not as big and strong as Zion is. They build up a wall for Giannis. I don't think you can just build a wall for Zion. He's just gonna take that 1-2 dribble step and he's just gonna push into them and they're just gonna back up and he's gonna create space. If they hound him, they'll just kick it out. And
You
I think
think Zion is more unstoppable in the paint than Giannis is?
Yes.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying Giannis on a fast break or when the defense isn't set, Giannis is better. But if the defense is set, Zion it will be better.
Yeah.
It's bigger and stronger. That's what
I
I'm
agree.
saying.
I agree with that. Bro, Zion just bulldozes, bro. Just
Yo,
kind of gets to the rim
Zion
with
is-
ease. Watch some NOLA games, bro.
If
Hey,
you
Zion
watch
is
him,
strong, but
he'll get it. Listen, guys,
He's
he'll
not-
get it in the high post. He'll hit a jab. He'll just drive into the defender, and he just creates so much space.
This is
he
the thing.
won't, bro.
This is the thing. This is the
Listen,
thing.
Zion is not gonna do. Okay, Zion is not gonna do all that. Listen, I'll tell you why. Because Steven Adams is gonna be down there clogging up the paint. The Pelicans have the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, so I can guarantee a brick is gonna come out from 3 if he passes it to someone else. They're absolutely terrible shooting wise. You can look at the stats; they suck. Shooting the 3, they're terrible right now. You know why?
Right now,
Because Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, but you need one shot.
Dan
You need one
Van Gundy is-
shot.
What do you mean I need one
Ingram.
shot, bro? They
Like,
suck at shooting threes.
At the end of the game, you only need one shot. The percentages
I need
don't
one
matter.
shot. I'm not gonna go to Zion over Tatum.
No, not for the shot.
No,
Zion can kick it
no, I'm
out to like
saying
Ingram.
clutch.
I'm
I'm
going
saying
to Ingram over
overall, I
Tatum.
think- Yeah, I'm.
Okay, see what you just said. What you just said, Darden.
I
is the
don't
most
think I'll go to Ingram over Tatum. I don't think.
bullshit
I
thing
love
I've
Ingram.
ever
I love
heard
Ingram.
today.
I love Ingram. Ingram's one of my favorite players, but I'm not. I'm taking Tatum.
Yeah.
Do you want a
over
3
Ingram
or a
right now.
2? If you want a 3, then you go to Tatum. If you want a basket, you go to
I want a
Ingram. If you're only
bucket,
down
bro.
by
I
2.
don't care if it's a. I
I
don't care
want
if
a
it's a
bucket
3,
too.
a 2, a 1,
I saw what Tatum
a
did when he
5, a free throw.
Suhas, you remember?
Tatum's
You
gonna give
remember.
me.
What did Tatum do when he drove to the basket to tie a game?
That
That's what happened.
was one game, bruh.
Yeah, one
Shut
game in the
your mouth,
playoffs. You
Darden.
got blocked. You got shit on. Zion
Ingram
got
didn't-
blocked.
Ingram didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, look at
Yeah,
Ingram's.
exactly.
Oh yeah, nice.
I mean,
Ingram
play.
had the
his-
chance to, and he
His best,
still
the
took
best
the
player in his
bag.
team was injured. The best player in his team was injured that time.
Oh, stop
I can't believe this guy did
this
this.
bullshit, bruh. They lost to games. They lost to teams that they should not have lost to, and that's why they didn't make the
Well,
playoffs.
This year
Don't
they're
give me
losing
this
to teams-
bullshit. The NBA
They just lost to the
is
Hornets,
such
bro.
an easy
I'll tell you right now.
They lost to the
I'll
Hornets.
tell you right now,
Just
the,
lost to
the
the
Pelicans would beat the
Nets lost
Celtics
to
in a
the
7-game
Hornets.
series.
The Nets lost to the Hornets.
What did you just
I said, right now with no Kemba, the Pelicans would 4-game sweep the Celtics.
Yeah, in my
In my-
your dreams, yeah. In your
In
dreams,
my
yeah.
dreams.
Dude, you saw what? Dude, just stop it, bro. The Celtics with
Bro, I
Kemba,
literally
without Kemba.
Pelicans are literally like one of my favorite teams, but there's no way I'm taking them over the Celtics. Come on.
Bro, with no Kemba, the Celtics look lost. They're playing a rookie who gets
Lost.
put back.
7-3 is lost. 7-3
Against
is
these
lost.
teams, wait till January 30th, Tejas. Wait until you play a real team.
January 3rd. I can't wait for January 3rd. I'm
At least
so
Lakers
excited.
play real
January-
teams.
I'm not taking a
What's on
ground
January?
on all cylinders.
Lakers play real.
What's on January?
Lakers
What's on
smacking
January?
Celtics
Boston.
Lakers on ABC.
The Celtics did play a West team,
Who? The Memphis Grizzlies?
and they won. The Grizzlies that took y'all, bro. They took y'all. Y'all barely beat the Grizzlies.
Hey,
I wouldn't be
No,
talking.
so. Let me say one more thing. Hey, Darn, you remember last year on MLK Day? At around 10 o'clock at night, what was the score between the Celtics and
Oh
Lakers?
my god, no one cares. No one cares.
No one cares. We're blowing up by 32.
Yeah, but
Shut
who won the
your mouth
championship
up.
last year? Who won the championship last year? Who's gonna win the
Listen,
championship?
bro.
We're talking
Oh
about this
my
year.
God.
You're talking about this year. You can't. Celtics can't win the 2020 championship. They can only win the 2021 championship now. So it's right now, the present. So why are you talking about last year? The year
The
the
Lakers don't win.
I'm
Lakers
just
don't win
saying
the
the
championship
Celtics
either.
would have dominated the
What a
Lakers
joke.
because the Lakers can't guard wings.
What?
The Lakers cannot guard wings. Face it.
They can't guard wings.
They cannot.
We got
Are
Jimmy
you
Butler.
kidding me? Did you
What do you mean they guarded Jimmy
not
Butler?
see
He put up
Paul
a
George
40-point
go off on
triple-double,
open
bro. He literally was
Jimmy
talking smack
Jimmy
to
Butler
LeBron.
could
We got it Harden. We got it Harden.
Harden's not trying. Shut
I mean-
your mouth up.
I mean, Harden's not trying. Did you say he wasn't trying
Oh.
last year?
No, he's not trying. Okay, last year he stank the joint up. Okay, Harden always does this.
Bro,
He's
Tatum's
not a
wing-
wing anyway.
AD
He's
can guard
He's
all.
a guard.
AD
He's
can
not
guard
a
Jalen
wing.
Brown and Jason Tatum in one position by himself, bro. We don't need defense. We have AD. He can guard both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis
Y'all
couldn't
had-
guard Tatum last year when he dropped 41 on your heads.
Bro, LeBron can lock up either one. We both know this. I
Hell
don't know.
no.
Bro, LeBron's defense is better than Tatum.
Yeah,
LeBron's defense is better
yeah,
than
bro.
Tatum. You know who couldn't guard Jimmy Butler? Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, because that didn't work because they
And
lost.
LeBron, bro.
I mean,
what
they
do you
won,
mean?
though. They won. It doesn't matter. They
Yeah,
won.
but you're talking
Let's
about
wrap up.
guarding wings.
Kawhi and Paul George are Christmas Day champs. Lakers can't guard. That's a statement.
No cap. Lakers can't guard wings. Kawhi and PG are the Christmas Day champs. Back-to-back years, bro. Back-to-back years.
All right, let's wrap up.
Let's wrap up. Thank you guys for listening to the episode. We hope you guys enjoyed this one. We will be doing an episode pretty soon in a couple days where we talk about the season in general. We just wanted to get this one out there because of the blockbuster deal with James Harden and them. So hope you guys enjoyed this. As usual, leave a like and subscribe and comment down below what you guys thought about this. We'll see y'all later. Peace.